So the Haitian Revolution totally kicked the American Revolution and the French Revolution's ass in terms of utilitarian freedom for all, egalite, fraternite, liberté for everybody. And the American Revolution forgot the women. It forgot white men who didn't own land, anybody, or under 21, black people and Native Americans. So essentially most of the population, the American Revolution forgot. The French Revolution started out pretty good, getting rid of the aristocracy, bourgeoisie, knocking it out of the park, right? Chopping off their head. You can't get any more clear of who the enemy is after that. That totally sets the tone. It totally changes France to a completely new country. But the Haitian Revolution was when the slaves themselves got their freedom. When the slaves themselves got their freedom, that's what changes the game. That changes the game. That's the oppressed becoming the kings. It's the oppressed getting free. And even, compared to what the Jefferson was in favor of the French Revolution, he resigns after Washington and Hamilton decide to declare neutrality between Britain and France when France declared their own revolution. Thomas Jefferson thought that the French Revolution and the American Revolution were one and the same. But as soon as the American Revolution had, they're victorious against Great Britain, then automatically we start to be allies with Great Britain, right? If they acknowledge the country, then heck, our fathers, acknowledge that we exist. I'm so tickled to death. But that's why the War of 1812 happened. Even Thomas Jefferson, who had defended the French Revolution, had resigned from his seat, still talked about Haiti as being that cannibal republic. That cannibal republic, that, black nation. And that's ultimately, that was the point. Thomas Jefferson didn't want to give up his slaves. A lot of the Southern aristocracy could not support Haiti in their revolutionary efforts. In fact, selling Louisiana Purchase to Napoleon so that way he would have more money and resources to go back into Haiti. And then Napoleon, of course, had that famous quote that he says that he doesn't want to reconquer Haiti to get, all the sugar and the slavery. While all that matters, commerce and money matters, really he has to reconquer Haiti to stop the march of progress for black people. He's got to stop the Black March. They cannot progress whatsoever. So it was a racist endeavor. It was to make sure France dominates the entire world, and the entire continent of Africa right below France isn't shit. So I want to mention a couple things. France's history with Africa in relation to just Haiti. That's the reason that Napoleon wanted to conquer Haiti, was just to stop black people from ever progressing. It is now the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and don't tell me that's not by design. The United States has 3 coups d'etats in the last 20 to 30 years, and they are open capitalist society. Anybody could go down there and buy whatever land and stuff that they want. The Haitian people be damned. So when I think of France and the relationship with France and Toussaint Louverture, he was the general. This is the slave who eventually stands up and becomes, a freedom fighter. And I will not take the oppression anymore. And so Toussaint Louverture is one of the slaves who eventually stands up and leads this revolution against the French occupiers. And what happened to Toussaint Louverture, though, is instructive, because eventually Napoleon, right, wants to stop the march of black people, tricks Toussaint Louverture into some meeting, and they kidnap him. And then once they kidnap him, they throw him in a boat, and then they put him in a dungeon. And that's how they treated the greatest revolutionary in the revolutionary age. He dies in a dungeon. And Napoleon was like, I don't give a fuck, and just, totally murdered Toussaint Louverture. And he was like, look, I am a French person. He had a great respect for the French people, for the French culture. But Napoleon, being the rabid, racist piece of shit that he is, did not give a shit. And so not only did eventually, the followers of Toussaint Louverture pick up where he left off, Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Henry Christophe, eventually the Haitian people are victorious. And the Haitians win their rebellion, they win their independence, they win their freedom. The revolution is a success. And because the revolution was a success, now France has to try to figure out how to colonize Haiti again. And it's almost like they did with China, how China is doing us. They want to take us over economically. If you can't force militarily another sovereign nation to your will, then try economics. And so that's how, in a way, China has conquered America, because we owe them a shit ton of money. Now, Haiti, once they had declared their freedom, once they won the revolution, won their independence, eventually France tricks Haiti and says, we will grant you sovereign nation rights. We'll recognize you as a country if and only if you pay us reparations. And what was the reparations for? Lost property, specifically slaves. France lost their slaves, and they wanted to force Haiti to pay for that lost slave property. Well, some people, they're humans, right? They own themselves. Nobody owned, any of those slaves. You thought you did, but that was based on an unjust system, so fuck off. In fact, reparations would go the opposite direction, because Haiti, the Haitians, the native people of Haiti, all the Arawaks and, the other natives, Arawaks and the Taino and the other group, I forget, but the Taino and the Arawaks and the slaves that they had shipped in had did all that work for France. They made all that sugar, all that labor for free. So it's just like reparations here for, building Washington, D.C., for building the southern solid South, right? To building up the entire economic structure of the United States. That was a lot of free labor. It was exploited. So therefore, the reparations should go to the people that did not get paid, who deserve to be paid. But France turns it all around. France demands reparations for themselves, and Haiti winds up paying this. For years, they said 1825 gold demand by France, and then they said it's about 40 billion as of 2010 with consideration to inflation, to be paid by the Republic of Haiti in claims over property lost through the Haitian Revolution in return for diplomatic recognition. All right, we'll recognize that you exist as long as you give us $40 billion. And it's a poor fucking country. And so not only did the France break the nation militarily and killed a lot of people and forced them to do all this drudgery and slave work, then they try to break the nation just to get diplomatic recognition. I would have said, fuck France, and then use that money to rebuild Haiti. But instead of using that money to rebuild Haiti, Haiti was paying this reparations back to France so they could rebuild their own shit. Eventually, Aristide, the guy that was coup d'etat, America went ahead and kicked Jean-Bertrand Aristide. They kidnapped him, and they did it twice. I'm going to say Bush 1 and then Bush 2. But president, he was the first democratically elected president of Haiti. Jean-Bertrand Aristide demanded that France pay Haiti over 21 billion US dollars. What he said was the equivalent in today's money of 90 million gold francs. Haiti was forced to pay Paris after winning its freedom from France. Some analysts believe that France's refusal to support the deployment of an international peacekeeping force to Haiti until after the president's departure was linked to Aristide's demand for reparations, which were unpopular in Paris. Well, no shit. Because, nobody wants to pay their bills. Hell, I'd rather get free labor. I'd rather get the free labor and trick them to start paying me. But if they start saying, hey, wait a second, I'm the one doing the labor, I'm the one that should be paid, now fuck off. I wanted you to work for free. If you're not going to work for free, then, what is popular in Paris doesn't exactly matter. It's about what is right and what is wrong. I believe that the call for reparations could have something to do with the coup d'etat. They forced Aristide to resign because France was not happy about it. And they made very hostile comments because they know that they're in the wrong. And then as soon as Aristide was coup d'etat, The provisional prime minister, Gerard Latourtou, rescinded the reparations demand, calling it foolish and illegal. It's foolish to ask for the money that we deserved. It's foolish to demand money that we had worked and earned the right to do. So, following the 2010 Haiti earthquake, the French Foreign Ministry made a formal request to the Paris Club on January 17th to completely cancel Haiti's external debt. So apparently Haiti had some debt, and then they went ahead and completely canceled it. So while they didn't get their reparations, they did get their debt forgiven. Number of commentators drew references from the early 19th century indemnity demand and how it had severely depleted the Haitian government's treasury and economic capabilities.